Speaking of which, let's talk about it. Let's talk about this Mayhem ball. Now, I'm gonna give you all the tea on the night before. So on Saturday is when I found out because I didn't know what was going on. There was so many rumors that was going on. Oh, she filmed in a garage situation. First of all, there's I told y'all before, like there's no except like this little parking thing that you come up the ramp. I mean, you come up this little driveway. There's a parking garage on the left that regular people can park their cars in. On the right is Madison Square Garden, so we do the load outs and load ins there, as well as the talent and whatever can come up that long corridor. Me, I walk in between. I don't go up that thing, but once I'm in the building, I have to go across the little driveway ramp. Whatever. It's a whole situation when you get to see the whole ins and outs of working at MSG. But I have to go across because I got to go pick up my device. I got to pick up a whole bunch of other stuff before I start my shift. So that way, if I need to get in contact with people like a medic or whoever, I have the device in hand where I can go and get in contact who I need to get in contact to. So I have to always cross over the little driveway situation. But there's a little spot they could have filmed and stuff there, but I was like, no, she's not going to do something in that. So that was the rumor that was going on. She was supposed to film this thing. Come to find out, on Saturday she was actually filming the VMA performance. So I was on the floor. I didn't get to see it because I was working South Entry, which is like the entrance before you come into the floor level of the arena. So I had to check people's tickets, let them know where. So I was pretty much directing that night. Alongside, I had security and everything with me. So I was pretty much directing people where they needed to go and that sort of thing. So I heard the concert, I heard the performance and all that other stuff. Now, in regards to the performance, it was actually the regular Mayhem ball started around 9:25, I believe, between 9:25 9:30. The VMA performance was shot around 8:15 ish. We did well, not we. She did, and her dancers. They did two takes of Abracadabra. So they filmed that twice. So of course everybody's thinking like, "Oh my god, the show's on." I was like, "Okay, relax, calm down," because y'all running, and it's like, "Nah, I don't need y'all coming at me like bulls in a china shop. Relax." And I had to tell people, it's the VMA performance. You don't have to run. It's not the concert. You're not gonna miss the show. So then everybody relaxed. They went about their business. I don't know. It's something about me that I'm able to calm people. I just think I have a ways about me with the tone and the way I carry. I was like, okay, relax. Um, tranquilo. So yeah, so they filmed that twice, and then she had to go backstage and they had to do a costume change, and that took about 20 minutes, and then they had to shoot the dead dance twice. Now I'm not gonna hold y'all. The dead dance, I already told y'all how I feel about that song. I'm not necessarily a big fan of it. Um yeah, I'm not really a big fan of that song. And there were some people, I kid you not, because I was like, what songs? I gotta look up hold on, the Mayhem sound, like the track list. There were some people that actually agreed with me when they were talking about um the songs from the Mayhem album, that they felt like y'all could have pretty much just used those songs to for the whole Wednesday situation. They feel like that the Dead Dance is sort of like a it feels almost like a demo in a way. So um yeah, they pretty much feel like it's a demo, that sort of thing, and they don't feel like it's a real, like, good song. I mean, there's parts of it, like, some of the choreography is cute or whatever, and I'll get and all other stuff, but as far as, like, a whole song, they're not feeling it. They were like, "I don't understand why they didn't." She coulda revealed she coulda, released Garden of Eden as a single. Perfect Celebrity is a good damn song, and if you see, this is actually a still from the night where she performed, last night, where you can see the Moon Men in the background and all other stuff. And this is her actually singing Perfect Celebrity. Vanish Into You needs to be a song. Killer's a good song. Some people even saying Zombie Boy. You could have used that song. And I love when she performs a song live. It is definitely a good song to perform. It's also a good song that she sounds like the record when she sings it live. The choreography I actually like. And Zombie Boy, in my opinion, fits within the whole Wednesday situation, because I haven't watched this new season yet, but I heard there's apparently zombies in the show, so or a zombie. Love Drug is a good song. How Bad Do You Want Me? Even though a lot of people compare it to Taylor Swift, it definitely feels like a Yazoo song or Alison Moyet, if you know who that is. Yeah, I'm taking it back. Um, I'm not a fan of The Beast, of Blade of Grass, Die with a Smile. That song needs to die on a vine. Um, Shout Out to Man is cute too. But yeah, those are the songs. Kill for Love is like, mm-mm. Oh yeah, they just added that. I just realized I'm looking at a different version of the album where they added Kill for Love and everything to it. But yeah, those songs you could have released instead of going with the other thing, which would be this song. I'm not liking it. The choreography is cute or whatever. And yeah, so um, I will say this. So yeah, they filmed each sequence twice, and then around not between 9:25 and 9:30 is when the actual concert started. It ended around 12, and during the night five, she did a stripped down piano version of Hair. So it's like she's been going back and forth with that, and then closed with Bad Kids because like after um she's done with the final song, which would be Bad Romance. Then she does oh my god, no, How Bad Do You Want Me is the closer. And then after that, they kind of do their final bows. They pick like a closing song from one of the old albums, and Bad Kids is what she closed out with. Then the next day, so I already gave y'all the whole ins and outs of like what happened with uh the VMA. She went to the VMA. She stayed for about 30 minutes, got her award, said her thank you that you can see in the picture here, and flew. Apparently, she took a helicopter that's from UBS. I don't know where in Long Island they have helipads, but I'm sure they have quite a few of them. They probably drove her to where they need to get on the helicopter, fly her in. I don't think that's going to take long. Probably take about 30 minutes. Fly her in to a helipad which is on 34th Street, I believe, in 12th. Then you could drive her up to 8th. Because it's like 3 long ass blocks from 34th Street, because there is a helipad, like I told y'all, over there. And then just drove her up to come to the garden. I know some people was like, well, why didn't she perform live at the thing? Because that would cost money. One, she would have to bring in her band, she would have to bring in the dancers and have them perform all out there, and she's got to pay for all of them to get over there. You think how many helicopters she gonna fit 25 dancers on? She has about 24, sorry. She has about 24 dancers and a band. There's no way she was getting all of them up in there. So it's just easier, film it the night before, have her show up by herself and whoever her assistant or whatever. Actually, sidebar, I actually think I met Gaga's parents because I was on the floor, and I'm sure I had a conversation with them, but I didn't realize it until one of my coworkers told me. She was like, "Oh, they were in my section," and I was like, "And that was section A." So like where I was, they had to go past me. So I didn't even think about it because when I'm in work mode, I'm not really all up on celebrity faces. Now, speaking of celebrity faces, the one I did recognize, Cooper Koch was there with his man, and that was Saturday. Um, well, Cooper looked good well, he looked the same as you see him in the show. They was holding hands and everything. So he was like, he out here letting his homosexual freak flag fly. He wasn't hiding I mean, he hasn't hit it. We already know he's openly gay. So we could go around with his man, holding hands, doing whatever as they going in the suite. So yeah, and so then that was that. And then last night's show, she did Edge of Glory. That was like the stripped down piano thing that she does, before she goes into um Vanish into You. Oh, and also I forgot to mention this, the vocals. So y'all already know, like from Miami and the whole situation where she had to cancel that final night. And I was like, okay, allegedly she was BSing, or the people think that she BSing because of the rumor that the tickets wasn't really selling like that in Miami. And you already know, like when it comes to New York City and 6 nights, I feel, and I do not want to bring up in this conversation, but I feel like everything that comes with Gaga, she's always trying to beat a Madonna record or something like that. So her turning down the opportunity to do like a night at New York, I feel like they would have ate her up in the comments. She's all about her and her people, all about trying to get her to beat some type of record, and it's like that'd be cute or whatever if you could beat a record at MSG, whatever that means. But as far as like the cultural impact, the amount of records sold, the amount of whatever, you're never going to beat Madonna's physical sales because you were on the cusp of the physical sales down into the digital sales. So this is a whole nother beast. So Madonna does what she does. She's great. You do what you do. You're great. So if y'all all about here trying to do this little subtle, I'm trying to beat people record, or maybe I'm reading too much into it and it's the media trying to play this whole pitting these two against each other, then we can have that conversation. But I do be feeling like at times that it kind of feels like that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, in the other segment for the when I was talking about the VMAs, Gaga basically had her Moon Man in the thing, and she knew it was going to get a lot of applause from her singing to her Moon Man instead of the skeleton that she normally does whenever she does Perfect Celebrity. And yeah, so the vocals and everything, I noticed like Saturday, she wasn't singing as hard because maybe so I'm thinking there might have been some truth to the whole vocal situation. The backing track was really loud. She was singing live, but she wasn't trying to be like, oh, I gotta do like a Christina Aguilera moment where I gotta show off with the vocals and I gotta really sing. And I gotta yang, 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 yang the whole night. I'm like, yo, girl, you ain't gotta do all that. We know Gaga can sing. We know she has that ability. But when it comes down to the singing part, don't really do stuff where you could just, overwork and stress out your vocals and something happens. You don't want a moment like Ava Max. We're talking about her vocal cords exploded or something or another. You don't want that. You don't want no permanent damage. You don't want to end up like Julie Andrews. So there was that. But I noticed on Sunday she did. There were moments where she sang a little harder. There was a part I did notice. I think it was during Perfect Celebrity, and I think that was Saturday's performance. Or was it yesterday's? I don't remember which one, but she was a little pitchy at parts. I didn't notice that. I was, girl, where's the note? But you're forgiven because we all have our bad days. We can't always be on key every damn time. But we know God can serve, and I guess maybe she was trying to pick a different range because when it's like, yeah, you're worried about damage or whatever, you always want to pick a different register. So when there were parts where she would sing at a higher register, like Vanish into You, y'all already know that part, which is Saw Your Face in Mine, on the boulevard. No, I'm just playing. That's not what she said. um, in a picture by our bedside, that part where she has that higher register. She sang it at a lower register on Saturday. So I was noticing like just a little things, when you have a trained ear for music and singing and piano, classic piano training, which I'm well versed in. You hear the things, you notice the little tempo changes and all the other stuff. I've always had that ear and it was a natural thing, which my music teachers always applauded me for having. Whereas some people they got to rely on other things, but I always had the gift, as I always say. So yeah, overall, the MSG Mayhem Ball, it was a lot. It was exhausting. It was a lot of work. It was crazy. It felt like the energy was higher last night because of all the stuff that was going with UBS and now over to MSG. And UBS is a part of, my union is a part of that whole situation. So a lot of people that I know that that I work with work over there, and they already one of my coworkers actually gave me the heads up that that's where she was going to go, and we were like, really? Then it turned out it was true because he said, yeah, I'm working over there at UBS, and they knew that she was going to be doing that whole performance over there. So overall, I say this: it was a cute performance. The concert definitely was giving. I think one of my friends was there. One of my friends was there the night before. But he was on the opposite side, so I didn't see him. So I didn't even know he was there because he was on North Entry. I was on South Entry, and it's funny how as big as MSG is, you could be on the same floor and you'll miss each other when it comes to stuff. Oh, another thing I forgot to bring up, and I don't think I've ever brought this up when I talk about the Gaga Mayhem Ball. We got to talk about the outfits. There was the shout out to the gays. The gays were bringing it with the costumes. Some of y'all there was one boy. I was like, okay, I see you knees. He was up there, and I was giving compliments, telling people there was one drag queen that cracked me up. She reminded me of Jackie Beaton the way her makeup was, and then I was asking for her ticket, or it was something. She was like, "Oh, my face is not." She said, "My phone's not recognizing my face." I said, "Yeah, because you in drag," and then we had a little laugh. But there was one that had on like this bodysuit that kind of like the back was a thong or whatever his butt, and they had like a little like a V cut out or whatever in the crotch area. It was red and it was see-through, but then he had on kind of like the lace look that Gaga wore, where she had a whole face and everything. Rather, what was that at the VMAs or was that at the Grammys? I can never remember. But remember when she had that whole lace? I think it was the VMAs because I think she won a movie and she had the crown on her head. Remember that look? I think he kind of had that similar look, minus the crown and the wrapped up face and all other stuff. But he had a little red lace bodysuit on, but it and then had a thong on that was black. Girl, you could have just got you a red one so it could just match red one. You should have got you a red one to match the whole outfit, and it would have been cute. You wore a black one because I was like, it could have all blended. Because I was like, if he ain't wear that thong, girl, your meat and potatoes would have been out, and we would all been gagging. So the boys was up in there half naked. giving body and everything, and fully confident. And he had on top of that, he had on like these high ass. Well, they were red. I don't know if they was real Louboutins, but they was red bottoms. So we'll just call them Fouboutins until I could be proven they was actually, the real Louboutin type. So yeah, the boys was up there serving and giving looks, the girls too, but we ain't talking about the ladies. We talking about the men's. So shout out to y'all. And a lot of these little white queens that was out here serving, and I'm sure they all live in some damn Brooklyn. So they was up in there confident in their outfits. You gotta be if you're gonna show up at a Gaga concert. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Did you get to catch the Mayhem Ball when it was at MSG? What were your favorite highlights? Were you actually at the taping of the VMAs? And were you at the one from last night? So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Whatever your thoughts are on this story, let me know in the comments down below.